Hi, my viewers. I am Dr. Raghavendra, consultant neurosurgeon and spine surgeon at SLG Hospitals, Bachupalli, Hyderabad. Today, I like to share some knowledge about the awareness about the brain tumors. What are these brain tumors? See, there is a lot of myths around the people. What is about the brain tumor is that once the brain tumor is being diagnosed, there is an end to the life. It's not like that. So, to understand from the basics of this brain tumor management and the brain tumors, we have to understand normal mass of tissue developing in the brain. It is called as a brain tumors. We generally don't use word brain cancers. So, this brain tumors can be a primary or a secondary. What does this primary or a secondary means? The primary tumors are those tumors which happen within the brain. The secondary tumors are those tumors which happen other than the brain, like a lung, breast, colon, kidney, prostate. They can happen in the different parts of the body and they just be noticed in the brain. They are called it as secondary brain tumors. But not is it all the brain tumors are very serious in conditions? No. You have to understand there is something called brain tumors can be a benign in nature or a malignant in nature. The benign tumors are those tumors which generally they don't grow very fast. On the other hand, we have something called malignant tumors. The malignant tumors, it can be again a primary or it can be a secondary tumors. As I told, primary tumors are those which happen in the brain. The secondary areas are those which come from the other area of the body to the brain. We call them as metastatic tumors. Like most commonly we see the breast, lung, kidney, prostate, something like that. So, what should we understand? Etiology means what are the causes for the development of brain tumors. See, exactly to enumerate, we don't have any definitive answers why these brain tumors happen. See, we have various reasons to understand that there may be a possibility of development of the brain tumors. One is like infection. Some of the viral infections like HIV, Epstein-Barr virus, these are the different group of virus. If they have been infected, they have a tendency to develop a type of brain tumors called lymphomas. If there is sometimes called as genetic disorders, it may run in the familial pattern, but that is not so commonly noticed. Like if you have a neurofibromatosis or we call it as Montgomery-Åsberg syndrome, they are some genetical disorders where the brain tumors can run in the hereditary pattern. Or you have to understand those people who are exposed to the various chemical industries, they are very prone to development of the brain tumors. So these are some of the hypothetical ways that for the development of brain tumors, but exact etiology we cannot make out why he has developed the brain tumor. So there is one more short questions going on in the people in nowadays, is mobile using and causes a brain tumor? Yes, as per the literature, we don't have any evidence to show that the mobile usage has been documented for the development of brain tumor as on today. So I can make that. It doesn't mean to say that you start using mobile excessively. I just wanted to convey that the brain tumors and the mobile usage, there is no association has been noticed as on today's date. So how these patients can come to us with the when they have the brain tumors. See, most of the time the patients are diagnosed with the presence of symptoms. See, every symptom I am uttering may not be a brain tumor symptom. There are other reasons like infections or even a trauma or any other inflammatory pathologies can also present in the similar way of the like a brain tumor. Mere presence of these symptoms doesn't mean that patient is suffering from the brain tumor. I like to tell the people that please don't understand. See, I am going to tell this common symptoms which a patient may present to me and later may diagnose as a brain tumor, but that incidence of this patient having a symptom later diagnosing as a brain tumor is very less. The most important symptoms we see in and around our OPD clinics is headache. So headache, people think it's a brain tumor. I have seen people unnecessarily they themselves getting into anxiety for the development that my headache is not getting, I have a brain tumor. It's not like that. See, most of the commonest simple cause for headache is treatable. They are not with the brain tumor. The brain tumor patients may present with a headache, but doesn't mean that whoever have a headache is having a brain tumor. So this is a very important point. People should not become unnecessarily stressed out that we have a headache, we have not like that. Most of the headaches are simple stress disorders, or it can be due to migraines attack. Simple, they are treatable. So next important finding is what we call it as seizures, means fits, or if you tell us मिर्के के दौरे हिंदी में. So this type of patients can also have any other diseases can also have this type of symptom, because we are dealing with an organ which is a single organ like brain. So anything happening in the brain can present to you like in this format, but it doesn't mean that they will be diagnosed with the brain tumor. So, mere presence of any of the symptoms like headache, vomiting, sometimes there will be weakness of the limbs, means they are not able to move the hands and legs, or there may be some memory problems, they are not even able to control his urine, they are not able to walk. This varied pattern of symptoms can be representative for the brain tumor, but doesn't mean that every patient who has these symptoms will be diagnosed with have a brain tumor. So, to understand this, once we make out sometimes a very critical form, they come very late stages in altered sensorium, means patient is not in a coma, not in a conscious state, like it can be semi coma or a comatose state. So, better to address the doctor if you have any of the symptoms early, so that we are being treated early, so that patients have a better quality of life. So, once patient comes to us with the diagnosis of the brain tumor, how we are approaching. So, diagnose whether the patient is having or not, we have certain basic investigations we do on a routine basis, which help us to understand how to better care we can give to the patient. See, the most common basic investigations which is easily available in today is CT scan. The CT scan is a very easily available investigation, and it is cost effective. The only thing is it has a radiation, so we cannot do it repeatedly. So, it can also diagnose a brain tumor at a very early stage, but sometimes the CT is not so significant enough to understand and give the clear picture what exactly as a surgeon wants to know. Sometimes next we have to go for the important investigations called as a MRI brain. See, MRI brain is a present day, it is one of the most essential modality for diagnosing any brain tumors. See, in MRI also, then MRI what we had earlier in my college days, in the medical school days, now the what we have in advanced MRI are different. See, MRI just gives the clear picture where is the brain tumor. With the advanced and the recent in the modern technology of the different types of MRI sequences we call, there is something called diffusion tensor imaging. This is a sequence which gives us how, example, if there is some tumor in XYZ patient on the left side of the brain. By looking at the scans, now we are getting a DTI, I will be able to make out that how far the nerves of the movement of the legs and hand nerves are located away from the tumor. How should I approach the tumor? Whether the tumor has already damaged the fibers or not, all this can be understood by making a special sequence like diffusion tensor imaging. There is one more sequence we call it as a functional MRI. The functional MRI, see, in this functional MRI what we do is, there is a patient has been diagnosed in MRI with some amount of some type of brain tumor, we do call as functional. Example, when I want to operate a patient who is very close to the speech area, because I am able to talk, it is because of some part of my brain is speech responsible area is functioning. If a tumor is located close to such organs, we do call it as functional MRI. What is this functional MRI? Here we do a special type of sequence where the patient will be talking to us, and so that you develop the sequences in a MRI. If you find the changes in the brain happening when the patient is taking, that is the pictorial presentation, we call it as functional MRI. So, by doing functional MRI, I can make out how far the lesion, how far the tumor is away from the speech area, so that I can be very meticulous, everything, so that I can give better results to my patient. So, these are some basic investigation. Sometimes what we do, as I told you earlier, there is something called secondary brain tumor. Secondary brain tumor, recently I operated one of my patient was diagnosed to came with a brain tumor, but we later found out that there is one more tissue present in the lung tumor. So, in such type of patients, what we do is the most important investigation, we call them as whole body PET CT scan. The whole body PET CT scan makes us to understand is that the tumor is only to the brain or it is located in any other parts of the body. We can make out, so that if the patient is having the tumor in the lung or in the vertebral column or in the breast, it can whole body shows that, and we can prognosticate the people how to further advance the treatment modality. So, after understanding all these modalities and the imaging structure, the work comes, is it how to approach the brain tumor patient. See, there is a lot of things, just mere diagnosis of the brain tumor is not an end to our life. There are a lot of benign tumors which are incidentally detected that doesn't need any treatment. Just a serial monitoring of our MRI sequences once in a year, if required once in a 2 years. We may just keep a follow-up on those patients. They are called as sudden meningiomas tumor. So, they may not need a tumors. They not need to be go for aggressive therapy. Okay. So, there are a lot of non-conservative therapy is also be to understand. Just I tell the people, not mere presence of something in the MRI, it doesn't mean that you need to go for a surgery and make the unnecessary things one. After that, so What all this investigation? The most important, if you want to go for it, the most important modality for is the surgical excision of the lesion. The surgical excision of the lesion is very important because we are going to debulk the tumor mass is reduced so that the patient have a better longevity of life. See, once the tumor has been taken out from the patient's body, we always send the samples for histopathological evaluation we call. The histopathological evaluation says what is the grade of the tumor, what is the type of the tumor. As I told you, meningiomas, we find little common tumors in the brain, they are generally very slow growing. Maybe because of the location of the which part of the brain affected, they may have a symptomatically, but if you look at the meningiomas per se, generally they are very slow growing tumors. If there is something other called as an gliomas, which are, see, the gliomas are also other variant of brain tumors which happen from those cells which are supporting our nerves, because no tumor generally happens from the neurons, because God has made us that no neurons has a multiple capacity. So neurons generally don't have no brain tumors. So there is something called gliomas, which is the most common tumor. If you do a glioma, we do an excision. Whether it depends upon the which area of the brain we have been operating, whether we are operating on like a motor area I call. So motor area is a very important area. I cannot be as a surgeon aggressive, because at the end of the day I have to think what is the quality of patient in my life, because if I give a good quality of life, that is what matters, rather than making a complete excision of tumor and making a bedridden. That's not the aim of surgery. The entire aim of surgery says that how to give better quality of life with in spite of surgical handling. So once the surgery has been done and we send the biopsy to the patient, the biopsy will tell whether this patient is having a grade 1, grade 2 or a grade 3 or a grade 4. Based upon the grading of the tumor and how much of the degree of excision has been told, we will send our patients to the next level of management. Whether he needs a chemotherapy or we needs a radiotherapy, we will take a call based upon the excision of the lesion and also based upon the histopathological report, what happens. So nowadays, earlier even I like to tell people that chemotherapies are not like earlier days. We used to give a lot of chemotherapy like IP patients. Nowadays, there are a lot of drugs have come to the market. The patient himself can take a chemotherapy in the house for 5 days in a month like that. So that's, they have made the technology and the development and the science has helped us to become simpler and an easier way so that patient can be handled very nicely. So sometimes if we come to the radiation, so these radiations are also being developed, advanced machines we have now, so that earlier whatever the drawbacks, like in staining, like the lot of issues like we used to have in the radiations, so that all the adverse effects what we used to have because of radiations have not been nowadays with the advanced machine. Okay. So coming to the point, I was telling that there are something tumors called meningiomas. Based upon the location of these meningiomas and considering the age factor of the patient, or if the patient is having just anything like an comorbid factors, like a patient is having a diabetes, hypertension, or is a severe cardiac patient, he has any kidney issues like that. If such patients who cannot be even consumable, taken for a surgical intervention, such also can be treated with a newer technology, we call it as CyberKnife. So there are something called tumors which are very close to the important brain structures, like what we call it as a brain stem. So they are like in that type of tumors can be just treated by a radiation therapy like CyberKnife, gamma knife, X knife. These are the different methodology of the giving radiation. The advantage of these radiations, you just need sometimes only one per dose per day, or it can be extended up to 3 to 5 fractions. Based upon the size and based upon the location, we make a call whether this type of radiation to be given or not. So these are the things. See, today I like to say that the technology has made the brain tumors surgery an easy, approachable with a good quality of life. So next come, is there anything the new technology has come in the recent part? Exactly that I like to say that the technology has reached its sky is a limit, so we have reached. We have operated a patient, there is something called navigation. Nowadays, without navigation, a Google Maps, what we use, there is nothing in the life, we cannot reach our destination. That has become the same thing, the same, the principle we use, there is something called navigation. The navigations are what we do is, when we example, we have diagnosed the brain tumor of a patient on the routine basis, there is something called navigation. We do navigation MRI, we take the navigation MRI or a CT based investigation and we load the same patient's data into our system, that is called navigation system. Whenever we are using a patient, taking for a patient for surgery, we make sure that Earlier days, we used to make a large opening on the skulls and take out the tumors. So with the advancement of the navigation machines, we have limited the skull opening has become very small, and only the desired and the required amount of the skull tissue which has to be taken out will be taken out. So that navigation helps me to understand where is the tumor, how depth I have to go, so that it helps to understand in making the lesser size of the craniotomy, means opening the skull, or it helps to prevent lesser damage to the brain structure which is around the tumor. So this is how the navigation helps. Navigation has made the brain tissue more comfortable, more precision. There is something called it as intraoperative nerve monitors. Example, what does intraoperative nerve monitors means? Assume I told that we have a tumor in the brain which is responsible for controlling of his right hand and right limb, assuming that. So such patients, when I am operating, if I just go on thinking that excision of the tumor is my priority of my goal may be achieved without the patient getting benefited. So such patients, what we do is we try to stimulate the nerve, the area around the tumor, so that if the patient is having like a weakness of the hands at that time, we understand, yes, this part of the brain is a normal functioning of the brain, we should not touch that. If you don't touch such areas, the patient's quality of life in the post-operative period is very good. We call it as they are called intraoperative nerve monitors. There is a next level we have gone is intraoperative MRI, means we have excised the tumor, we on table we can confirm, is there anything tumor tissue left in the brain, should I go on reoperate? It was not like earlier days, you complete the surgery, take him to the MRI room and see that you have to go for it, whether to go or surgery is a dilemma. Nowadays what is happening during the process of surgery only, we can get an MRI. The MRI makes us to understand that okay, you have this part of the tumor is still left, so we can go and address the tumor in the same setting. The maximum benefit we can give to the patient in the same setting, that is the primary goal as a surgeon, how my patients are safe in the post-operative period. So the technology is always helping us to make it better and day by day. So we are making another. So I like to emphasize the most important and a commonly encountered thing is about avicraniotomy. Nowadays we would have seen in a lot of the literature, in the newspapers we have gone through, one patient was using a guitar when somebody was operating the brain tumor, and I like to share my experience that one of my patients is just an hardly a 36 years male, he has developed a brain tumor on his left side of the brain. So that area we call it as a motor cortex area. So I was very much worried, if I going to excise the tumor and make his life like if he is not able to move, that is not the goal of my surgery. My goal of surgery is how best my patient is what important. So and we are not just treating a patient, we are treating a family. That is why we should, because if he is a bread and burning earning person of the family, we have to think the entire family's affairs if he gets into trouble. So thinking all this in the process of a subconsciously, we have to give good day. So what I did for that patient is, he is one of the great fan of our film actor Chiranjeevi Garu. So I asked him what you want to enjoy when I was operating on his surgery. He said, I wanted to watch his Shubhalekha song, sir. I said, fine, you just enjoy. He was enjoying his song and I was operating on other end. Things went very smoothly, and the post-operative he was absolutely fine. He doesn't have any weakness. So that is one of the milestone as a surgeon what I like to see in my patient. See, to make a conclusions, lot of myths have been associated with the brain tumors. It's not like that all the brain tumors are like an end stage. The lot of brain tumors are benign in nature and they're easily curable, and once treated they may not have any recurrence of the symptoms. So it's all but always when we think is surgery is once in lifetime. So thinking that the goal of surgery is how best I can operate, we all have to think on all the angles and give our best to the patient, so that at the end of the day patient's care is fine and he doesn't have any deficits, he doesn't have any weakness, he is not in he's not able to speak, not able to hear. That is not the goal. The patient should be fine. That to conclude my presentation, I like to say that the myths can be taken out. The brain tumors are, most of them are benign in nature and they can be easily treatable. With the advanced modern technology, we have reached the better and the best outcome we can give to the patient, so that the patient and his family are in safe. Thank you one and all.